Okay, off the mic is okay. She off the mic,
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk through to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, my ego don't come. Ingo torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego diary politico, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. And in the touch like every corner, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Sure. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. See them talk say make we off mind, but thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you ladder, oh, yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego diary politico, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. This one not they off in mind, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that my yegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say my yegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say my yegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh yo yo. My yegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh.
Good evening to you. Morning to you. Good evening and good afternoon to you from wherever you're watching from. And this is Mayegun. Share this broadcast. Invite your friends. Invite those who are not so friendly friends. Tell them Mayegun is live. Thank
Mayegun diary politico. Godfatherism.
Thank you. Thank you. And as you are joining, remember, drop your offerings, which is your like that video, share the broadcast. I mean, tag everybody that needed to be tagged. This will be interesting again.
Ani esunraki. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú esunraki. Mayegun ti dé. Ani esunraki. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Ani esunraki. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. Ani esunraki. Mayegun ti dé.
Let me share something with you while we wait for the rest of us to join. This is us starting. This video is trending. But I'm going to start with this before we get fully into this conversation tonight. I beg, please watch.
2 hours later, I'm checked in. I'm almost at the gate for my flight. Oh man. You know, I've been around the world and I've never seen an airport as insane as this one you have here in Lagos. And by that I mean it's extremely corrupt. Picture corruption. Okay? The Nigerian airport, the Lagos airport, is that very definition of corruption that would pop up in the dictionary. Literally everywhere. Literally everything here. Coming in. You don't want to wait online for your COVID test? Oh, pay this guy. You don't want to have your bags checked? Pay this guy. You want to cut the passport line? Pay this guy. You want to bring your Red Bull through security? Pay this guy. You want to get some crazy British Airways employee off your back who thinks that you were specifically filming him when you're just trying to film yourself checking in? Pay that guy. Oh my God. This is very draining and very stressful here. My friends, Nigeria is not for the faint-hearted. Go to East Africa for that. This is next level.
Thank you. Now, let's get started. That's an American vlogger who visited Nigeria, and he said it was, man, well, you heard him. That is exactly what happened in Anambra today as well. You want to vote, give this one. You want that, give that one. And at the end of the day, we realized that the call-off of the sit-at-home of IPOB was actually a very, very good move. And that is where I'm going to start from. Let me tell you something why I continue to use my platform to educate and continue to remind many of you, despite the billions that Nigeria politicians and the Nigerian government are spending locally and internationally in order to discredit the Biafra struggle by having somebody to blame it on, having an organization to blame it on, and they choose no other but the non-violent, the peaceful one, IPOB. The reason why I continue to use my platform for this is this. Nigeria is messed up to the state whereby today in Nigeria, terrorists are pardoned, activists are jailed, and they are actually charged for terrorism. In Biafra, on this Biafra struggle, there are over 20 different groups who are clamoring for Biafra. Among them all, only one is viable. The only one that you can actually reach people all over the world where they have their members. This is the IPOB led by Nnamdi Kanu. At first, they said his words were too harsh, and therefore it was making it difficult for people to believe in Biafra. But there is something that stood them out. You might have come across this Biafra IPOB on social media, which is great. Thanks to Nnamdi Kanu and Radio Biafra. But locally, back in Igboland, the discussion in the name of IPOB is vast and more grounded than what you see on social media, because most of what you see on social media, most of them are attention seekers, clout chasers, and as you see today, when they give orders that they don't have any structure to control, right? They double down. But when you pay attention very well, everyone today, most people who are like actually saying they are fighting for Biafra, it is convenient to hide under IPOB when they are actually not one of them. Here is what I found out. IPOB as a viable organization led by Nnamdi Kanu is so reachable that it could actually be the window for the whole logjam about Biafra and Nigeria. They are the only reachable people. They are the only ones that you can say, oh, if we have to say we want to arrest anyone for Biafra, you will look out for IPOB member. And they are the only peaceful ones as well. Until the second time of kidnapping Nnamdi Kanu, some of you never heard of some of these other violent groups that are springing up. They are leveraging on the success of IPOB. And that is why when they started this unknown gunmen day stuff, I laid everything bare before every one of you to compare and contrast and tell me if you believe that the IPOB, you know, could carry out all this and that. Many actually finally agrees that it doesn't make any sense. We have those they call themselves Biafra National Guard. Nobody heard of them until the second kidnapping of Nnamdi Kanu. And if you want to know how Biafran struggle works with IPOB, this is what got me interested. And with what I found out, when I see charlatans, when I see all this mob on social media, labeling everyone that possibly doesn't toe the line of violence that they pretend to represent, but so coward enough to come out and prove that. And I'll tell you why. No matter what Nnamdi Kanu says on his broadcast, if you have actually paid attention, every time he talks about what Nigeria will become when Nigeria comes after them, it is always after he says, if you come after us, because he knew they will come after them. Sit at home was initially for the remembrance of those who were killed during the genocide of 1967 to 1970. A form of remembrance. Sit at home in respect. Then sit at home became another protesting tool that became so powerful. But here is this. Sit at home never comes with a threat. Never. I have been following things and I've mind, like when you are fighting for independence or you are pursuing a struggle, you need allies. And if you need allies, you have to trust them. If you don't trust them, you can't win their trust. It is a give and take. When they tried to kill Nnamdi Kanu in 2017, and then he resurfaced, he started building bridges with so many other groups and organizations in Nigeria. He was willing to discuss. He was ready. And in fact, he was discussing, explaining the position of why the Biafrans would love to have a referendum, a peaceful one. That earned him more respect and followers that further made IPOB bigger than it was before 2017. In all of this, there is something I found out. Whenever IPOB organization, which they have an organization, when they say they have structure, I like the fact that Nnamdi Kanu did something about IPOB, with IPOB. He decided to be the face so that every other comrade, every other individual involved in mobilization for the Biafran independence, they will never be known. You all will get to know Nnamdi Kanu. That's how it was structured before he was kidnapped and almost killed in 2017. And that exposed the ambition of others within the IPOB structure itself. So what am I trying to tell you? IPOB became more successful under Nnamdi Kanu to the point that it became bigger. That even people who never believed in the Biafran struggle pre-2016, 2017, with the way Nigeria treated the Biafrans and the expose around that period, millions became more interested, not just those who are Biafrans, even those who are outside Biafra. An organization that was built in this way will always have its own challenges from those who found themselves in one capacity or another, or in one position or another inside that organization. So fisticuffs started when Nnamdi Kanu face was no longer there. And when Nnamdi Kanu came back, he did what he called home cleaning. He did an home cleaning that some people actually got axed. Now, he's been kidnapped the second time. So whenever he's not around, that is when you get to hear from the Directorate of State, just as they structured their organization. And whenever the DOS comes out to say, sit at home will start on so day, they never issue threats. They never tell anybody not to go to their shop, or if they open shop, they will be killed. If they burn you, well, go out. There is never any time they issue a statement. But every time they issue this statement, most of these charlatans on social media, these attention seekers, and some of them that will be abusing me right now, read the comments. They grabbed on that and they begin the project of intimidation and fear. We will do this, we will do that. Forgetting the fact that the Nigeria of today, they have concentrated more on you, the Biafrans, and especially if you are anywhere near Biafran struggle. And social media is their hunting field. And they have them as evidence to kill. When you see these faceless charlatans that will never carry any gun, you won't see them anywhere. But they will now escalate it. We will kill any soldier. We will burn this, we will burn that. Forgetting the fact that the same Nigeria has declared war on you for asking for a referendum. And the only way to actually fight them is when you don't play into their hands. Number one, there is no anywhere in Biafra land or anywhere in southern Nigeria that can brag and boast of the weaponry to face the Nigerian military, the Nigerian Air Force, the Navy, and the rest of the what they have. There is no group, there is no part of southern Nigeria, no part. Which simply means it will be a killing field for them like usual. And when you threaten and you can't carry it out, you leave the people at the mercy. The same people that ordinarily sit at home without you having to threaten or intimidate them, because your threat or intimidation, right, doesn't make them sit at home or go out there to. But when you read the letters word for word, there is never a time IPOB will threaten you for not sitting at home. But what they always offer is this: we advise you to please sit at home for these so reasons. And if you go out there, if anything happens, please do not blame IPOB for it, because Nigeria will blame IPOB for it. Sorry. That's like a caveat. Meanwhile, back in Biafra land, the owners of the messages, the real people, right? They've received it. They've considered it. They discussed it. And they carried it out. In 2019, Nnamdi Kanu said, if nobody is going to release the IPOB members arrested and then currently held up by Nigeria, there will be no election in Biafra land. Then the same way he retreated, just like a retreat is not a surrender. By the way, he retreated because for that same period, America and the rest of these people that you probably would need, yeah, they are not supporting, they are not giving the attention you need right now. But they will give that attention, right? But they will give that attention based on the track record, not after we have sacrificed innocent people that Nigeria is willing to kill anyway. Yeah? If you are one of those that would disrupt elections in Biafra land or in Nigeria in 2019, you will be blacklisted. After conversation with his team, Nnamdi Kanu retreated and he said, well, for those of you who have the voters card and you want to vote, I'm going to say, well, go on. There is no longer sit at home. Because of what? There are those also who are hiding behind the cloud of IPOB as well, which time is exposing them now. So when people now turn around, those who actually want to milk the advantage of the chaos, not the consequences of the chaos that they project. Yeah? When Nnamdi Kanu retreated, it gives them hands off for those who wanted to carry out their sinister motive as they have been doing from the beginning of this year. So that you can't then turn around and say, well, for what happened there yesterday, it was the IPOB. And that is why I said today, you don't have to join the mob that is suffering from trust issue. There are people who have trust problems. But what I have told you so far, even Nnamdi Kanu himself finally learned that he will need to trust some people until they prove themselves otherwise, or else it will be like fighting in the shadow. And he's been building on that. I bet it is one of the reasons why he was in Kenya. If not, why would he risk his life to go to Africa from all he knows, from everything intelligence he knows? He still went and he took the risk to Africa until he got caught, if not because he trusted some people. And he could only trust you that much if this has to do with Biafra. How can you then turn around and begin to call him a sabo, begin to call those who have been holding forth sabo, saboteurs, and the rest of that just to massage your egos, when you actually have nothing, absolute nothing to change when it comes to this issue of Biafra, other than the emotion? From the beginning of this year, after the launch of the ESN, suddenly, unknown gunmen and insecurity in eastern Nigeria escalated. And more than 5,000 innocent people have been randomly raided and then, locked up, while thousands of others have been killed, unaccounted for. And Nnamdi Kanu himself, his freedom restricted. Yet, there is no day that passes that they don't blame all of that on IPOB and a reason to kill them. So, if I sit down here and I want to tell, and I'm probably bragging about how violent IPOB is, I'm actually going to be lying to myself. And it is so sad that there are so many people who are actually so arrogant and they have this pride in ignorance because they can't really dot the line. You may get the attention now. You may be having the attention now. But just like every other thing like that, built on falsehood, it will fizzle out. And the only thing that will remain is still that genuineness in the Biafran struggle, which IPOB only represents. They have been blaming them for everything. There is no longer Fulani terrorists who have been ransacking and destroying villages. What you have now, you have the Nigerian military with guns and their uniforms going into people's homes, shooting them randomly, burning down their properties. And what are they saying? They are looking for IPOB members. So you can sit on social media and brag about things. And when people come out to set the record straight, you turn on them. Oh, you are working for the Janjaweed government. You are this, you are that. Hello. It is clearer why some of us indeed believe in the tenets. And if you want to prove me wrong, tell me, despite all the lawlessness and the criminality of a Nigerian government and the system, the same IPOB were still able to put together visible people you can see and touch, legal team, locally and internationally, that you have been reading about, and you have been reading about their exploits, fighting for the same Biafra, legally, as it should be. But Nigeria is a lawless country. And maybe the warning of, if you don't listen to Nnamdi Kanu, if you don't want to have a chat with him, if you don't want to dialogue and listen to their their demands, you are probably going to have to deal with the ragtag of other criminally minded group who claim to be fighting for Biafra. And when you see them, it is very, very pertinent to please do not attach them with IPOB. Let me start with this. Let's say for those who want to probably get reminded of Nnamdi Kanu and his intention, and why somebody like myself will vouch for them. And if you see anybody on social media jumping up and down, threatening people, if they burn you, well, come out. If you do this, come out, and the rest of that, maybe they belong to this other group. But it is easier to say we are IPOB. The IPOB I know, they are not violent. They are not a violent group. And this is one of the reasons why.
My name is Nnamdi Kanu. The reason why we're here today is to protest the killing of innocent women and children, and men for that matter, all over Nigeria, especially in the northern part of Nigeria. We are not happy. We are not pleased with what is happening, and that is why we're here today. As you can see, there are a lot of Nigerians who are protesting about the killing of families, people who are determined to tear the country apart violently, and it is not something that we support. It is not something that we would like to see continue, and we are here today to send a clear message to the Nigerian government through the High Commissioner that what is happening in the country is unacceptable, and we cannot accept it. If that continues, it will lead to the violent disintegration of the country. There will be no more Nigeria for anyone to go to. There will be no Nigeria for anyone to refer to. In fact, what is happening in Somalia today will be like a tea party. So we cannot allow this nonsense to continue. Something something has to be done, and the consequences of the actions of terrorism in Nigeria must be driven home to the people, so that even the terrorists themselves will be able to understand that there is no mileage in where they're going. The only thing they can accomplish is the breakup of Nigeria. If they think that they can cower people, if they think they can force people to be coerced into a religion which is not theirs, then they are clearly mistaken. We are asking for peace, we are asking for people to get together, we are asking for everybody who loves Nigeria, who is associated with that country, to please prevail upon terrorism in Nigeria so we can bring it to an end. That is why a multitude of Nigerians are gathered here today. Those of us in the UK are determined to work with the government for peace. We are determined to work with the international community for peace. But one thing we cannot stomach is a repeat of 1966. What is happening today in Nigeria was the reason why Nigeria fought a bitter civil war for 3 years between 1967 and 1970. If this continues, there will be another civil war in Nigeria. And this time around, no place will be safe in Nigeria. This time around...
That's Nnamdi Kanu and the IPOB he later represents. Now, listen to this group before we go fully into the Anambra charade today.
All Biafrans stay serving in the occupying Nigerian armed forces to decamp with immediate effect. And if interested, join us in the noble cause of defending the people and territories of Biafra. I am stating clearly that the proposed governorship election in the 4th Anambra state, listen very well. People of Anambra, listen very well. I am stating clearly that the proposed governorship election in the 4th Anambra state shall never hold. As I am a man, as the Biafran Armed Forces, as the Biafran Army, Biafran Navy, Biafran Air Force, including the Biafran detectives, as we are prepared to stop it, I am stating clearly that the proposed governorship election in the 4th Anambra state shall never hold, as we are prepared to stop it. As we are prepared to stop it. As we, the BNG, has prepared to stop it. In case if you come outside to vote, consider yourself. That's all. That is the standard. I am specifically demanding for the shutdown of every mosque. I am specifically demanding for the shutdown of every mosque as a vision of every Hausa Fulani indigenous till further notice. I am specifically demanding for the shutdown of every mosque and a vision of every Hausa Fulani indigenous till further notice. The anti-police force, the anti-court police force detention facility located at Eluguku must release every detained persons and shut down immediately, or I shall visit them with a wrath that the world can never stop imagining. It's a promise. I promise. These innocent men and women unjustly imprisoned for exercising the right to self-determination includes Mrs. Onyekachi Orji, Miss Okudri Basi, Uche Idikibo, Michael Okezie, Uchenna Nicholas, Peter Igbokwe, Ikechukwu Agara, Chima Aso, and the Chinwike Ironde. Others are Sebastian Amade, Kashmir Odakara, Ojemba Anyanwu, Eni Kalu, Ndubisi Okam, Ikechukwu Chikwem, Emmanuel Oji, Chukwuma Kalu, Chidebere Chikwem, and Madabuchi Aseka, including Mazi, Nnamdi, Kanu, and Benjamin Onwuka, including Mazi, Nnamdi, Kanu, and Benjamin Onwuka. All these people mentioned must be released with immediate effect. With immediate effect, or else Anambra will be a no-go area tomorrow. Whosoever dares to come out, do that at his or her own risk. Be warned. Therefore, every occupying Nigerian police station, army barracks, Air Force base, and Navy ports are hereby ordered to be shut down with immediate effect, as failure to adhere shall be met stiffly. Also, I am calling for the release of all Biafrans in all prisons, police stations, and other detention facilities controlled by the occupying Nigerian government. I repeat, I am calling for the release of every Biafrans in all prisons, in all police stations, and other detention facilities controlled by the occupying Nigerian government. I shall no longer keep silent, whereas injustice and atrocities are unabatedly committed against indigenous Biafran, while the so-called political elites look on unconcerned. The First Union by the British colonizers has gained. The First Union by the British colonizers has gained indigenous Biafran nothing but acts of discrimination and injustice. And this must come to an ultimate end, whether they like it or not. I especially thank the Biafran scientists and engineers for the smooth production of the BNG, Red Devil 01, and BNG ballistic rocket missile, aka Alekaku 021, which shall be launched to chase out every evil associated with the occupying Nigerian state, especially in the 4th Anambra state tomorrow. If they fail to cancel the election or release these people, they shall see. I challenge them today. I challenge them today. They shall see. The people of Biafran slowly demand on exercising the declaration on the granting of independence to colonial countries and peoples, which was adopted by United Nations General Assembly Resolution 1514 XB of 14 December 1960. I hereby assured every indigenous Biafran that the Biafran Army, Biafran Air Force, Biafran Navy, and Biafran detectives shall deploy every means of protecting lives and defending.
Is that not a mockery of what people suffered and died for? Do you think if IPOB was like that, they will have people, professionals, family men and women all over the world, rooting for them, defending them, speaking up for them? Do you think if IPOB was like that? they will have all of you that are genuinely supporting Biafra. Do you think you will support IPOB if they were like that? If Nnamdi Kanu is wearing and launching rockets and doing all of that, he is educated, he is smart. He got our attention, he got all your attention when he started firing and firing. Now that he has all your attention and everyone's attention, the world attention, they are now more what? They are now more strategic and still moving. And that's the success of what happened in Anambra today. If IPOB didn't call off that sit-at-home yesterday, you see this gang of criminals, you see, he never mentioned themselves as ESN. That is the volunteer armed part of IPOB. And their job is not to come to the city. Their job is not to disrupt your election. Their job is not to go and kill kings. Their job is not to attack a political gathering. Their job is not like that. They are based in the forest, doing the little they can, the much they can, to chase the criminals that have made life miserable for the local people. That some of you will only get their story to catch cruise on social media and brag. ESN never comes to town. They are never commissioned to be in town. Even when they send their Ebube lizard or Ebube Eku, when they send them after them, they have to go into the forest to be looking for them. So and you heard him, he didn't say he's from Eastern Security Network. He didn't say he's IPOB. He mentioned his member, the member of their group, Biafra National Army. He said they are, or National Guard, the Biafra Navy, Biafra scientists, Biafra this and that. They have produced one red dragon 001. You know, these are things charlatans do to discredit a genuine struggle. So if you see anybody on social media, right, whose emotion is running riot, and continue to tell you, to continue to suspect those in charge of IPOB, and you continue to attack yourselves simply because in your mind something continues to tell you the people in charge of IPOB, they've compromised. What would have happened today is this: the criminals like that, even though many of you, just like me, this is all we've got, our microphone and the camera, and possibly if we manage to speak some sense. And I don't intend to always be right, right? But when you think somebody is not right, right, when you disagree with them, you don't call them and accuse them of things that your mind continue to play you, even if you don't have any evidence. You can say, oh, I disagree with you. I get what you are saying, but I disagree. I still have my suspicion, which is fine. That is how to have an healthy conversation. But when you go all out and you start gaslighting people, and the effort is just to make sure that whatever differences everyone has, whatever misunderstanding you have, if the goal, right, is to arrive the destination in peace, then you should never be so busy tearing yourselves apart because you have trust issue. That's nobody's problem. If you are not matured enough, right, to understand that, yes, you might want things done your way, but if you are not smart enough, if your emotion is running riot, if you think you can instigate people to commit violence and then come around and claim, hey, they have started killing us, so they have been killing us again, oh, back to square one. I mean, there are other people who feel like, yes, you are dealing with a violent, lawless people called government in Nigeria, tricky, manipulative criminals. But at the same time, in everything you do, don't play into their hands. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. If not, charlatans like this. You remember when their video came out and they went into people's filling station, went into people's shop, and they were grabbing things, and they didn't pay. They filled all their tanks, they didn't pay. And they were bragging that they were going to Anambra to go and stop election in Anambra. So if you see anybody on social media claiming to be IPOB member and threatening violence, just know that they might have one or two things to do with these guys. And the only way to pass and get to your heart is to say they are saying those things because they got the fact as an IPOB member. This is where the mix-up is. There are decent people who knows that when you are fighting, there are sometimes when you have to like a retreat, especially when you know that the criminals who started the political killings, those who started the kidnapping, those who started the burning properties in eastern Nigeria, killing police and the rest of them, those who started doing all of that, they were doing that for a day like this, Anambra election. And their media, their military, everyone, they are not looking for any other person than IPOB. Because they are the easiest people to access, because they are the ordinary people you meet on that streets of Anambra, of Onitsha, of Nnewi, Aba, or anywhere. The ordinary people, including those who are sympathetic to the Biafran struggle, but they are not member of IPOB. So what happened? It's been 24 hours now, and I'm waiting for anybody who can give me a link anywhere on social media today that can say IPOB in any media, on all over social media today. If you have seen any link where IPOB is blamed for anything in eastern Nigeria today, please share it in the link. I mean, in the comments. I want to see something. And if you go back to from January 1, 2021 to November 5, 2021, if somebody failed to lock their door and they got robbed, the media will say IPOB robbed a woman last night. If their police killed an Okada rider because he refused to pay bribe, they will say, oh, an IPOB member was killed by a police officer in Aba. And that is it. Everything that happens, when they fail to construct road, fail to construct schools, fail to pay their workers, fail to build their economy, when election came, they blame it on IPOB. Because IPOB said people will sit at home on the day of election. We're not participating. So that they won't blame us for. And they said, you know what? Even when we sit at home, when we were on the streets, they were blaming us for every violence. When we even sit at home, they are still blaming us. You know what? We now know what they want to do this time around. Okay? Let them have their day. And nobody will blame IPOB. And for 24 hours, for all that happened in Anambra today, no single media has raised any headline to say IPOB did this, IPOB did that. But guess what? Anambra election happened. Voter apathy happened. The few people that managed to come out, though some people come out in some areas and they couldn't vote, the regular Nigerian, what have you. Then you would have think that, okay, at least for those who now came out, should their votes not count? It should, Abi. They are talking about electronic transfer of a vote, that will make their election credible. I have been on the INEC website for almost every part of today. There is never any updates from any part of Anambra on the election conducted today. We have seen them announce the result or count and collate on videos. But if you go to INEC website, there is no any single update. There's no single result there because they are cooking them as we speak. Yeah? But I got something that I think I'm going to share with you. You know the Okija Shatabandu, it was out to vote today. But before I even share that, the APC, Egbekegbe, as usual, as PDP as well, they were sharing money for election. But at a polling unit, a woman told the APC agents. And when you say who are the APC agents, they are also Biafrans. All right? I know, just like yesterday, some people were saying that they received, this is part of what I'm talking about, this attention and then what do you call it, this cloud chasers on social media, right? Somebody posted on social media that they had a deal. I mean, they had an information from a DSS source that said they are going to release Nnamdi Kanu last night unconditionally. And guess what? People started fighting themselves just because some said, this doesn't make any sense. Nnamdi Kanu can only be released through a court injunction or order or what have you. So you can't be that dumb emotionally about Biafra that you believe that. And I was there and I saw people arguing, attacking themselves, calling themselves names. Same Biafrans, attacking themselves just when this one comes and say, no, this doesn't make any sense. They just want to give us this news because of Anambra election tomorrow. People should not believe it. And you see like 50 reply, 100 reply. And you see those who are replying, attacking that person. You are Sabo, who is this Janjaweed? They are releasing our leader tonight. Everything is done already. I received the same information. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with these guys? They are the social media mob. All right? And if you ask me, those actually are not the reason why many people really support IPOB. Those who knows the struggle for independence, those who have studied such all over the world, they realize that the charlatans like that who always want to latch on anything just to make themselves feel good. And it's been 24 hours. Anambra election has happened. There is no violence anywhere that you can link to IPOB. None. The charm called election took place. Bribery as usual, but this one stood out. I think I should show
APC na yende mmadụ 5,000. Oh, you na-eme. APC na yende mmadụ 5,000. APC na yende mmadụ 5,000. Yes. APC na-egote vote. Anyị achọrọ APC. Anyị achọrọ APC.
People were rejecting 5,000 naira. APC, go. We don't want you. We don't want your money. That's what they are saying in that video. Not just that. The 54,000 security they took to Anambra, they took them there in readiness for their mass killings across some designated local government areas. But when IPOB called off that, when DOS called off that sit-at-home, that automatically jinx their plan. So the rigging you have now is going to be the rig, because there's no many people who came out. So the rigging you have now is going to be the electronic rigging, and you're just going to wake up tomorrow or Monday morning and you begin to read all these figures and you'll be asking yourself, really? Really? Where did they get this number from? Where you can then meet Tanko technicality. But calling off the sit-at-home gave the rest of the world, including those who don't want to touch Biafran struggle with a long pole because of what Nigeria can do to them, because of their interest in Nigeria. Now, with this move, right, when they are looking for those to blame for what happened in Anambra, you will never see the name of IPOB in any of them, except for those who are going to cry tomorrow or Monday if their own candidates fail to emerge the governor, whether not PDP, whether not APC, what have you. They took 54,000 security men to Anambra for Anambra election. The policemen that they promised that they were going to give feeding allowance this morning on the day of election, when Nonga won't kill them. And so then first start protest. on the day of election in Anambra, and it wasn't because of IPOB. So it is a breath of a fresh air, I will have to say, a breath of fresh air, which simply means that for 24 hours, with the doomsday calamity they were planning and plotting, many Biafrans are going to sleep tonight alive, right? But the policemen who went to Anambra, well, this happened. In everything, nobody jokes with hunger. And the policemen, as much as there's so much money to give to voters, yeah, and they couldn't provide enough. And somebody said that it was the guy in charge of their money that ran away with the money. As usual, Nigerian thing. There is always an allocation and somebody in charge and then didn't pay everybody, pay some and didn't pay others. And as usual, Nigerian thing. But that was today. Apart from that, I also caught something else. Let me see if I still have it. It was about the Anambra election. Or maybe we should actually hear from Ngige that the voters, what is it they call them? Biometric check, that machine didn't capture his thumbprint. But he said something about the election, and I think you don't have to believe him, all right? But it was today.
Republic, you are used to situations in politics, many situations. And this is quite novel, if I may say, because this is the first time the Beavers is being used in this kind of magnitude, apart from the Esoko South State constituency in Delta State. Yeah. So, how was the experience? Was there any luck or not?
Well, I'm still here. I've been here for the past 45 minutes, and my PVC was taken from me. My details were in the INEC register, my photograph, but they now want to accredit me fully with the VAT, and my photograph is rejected, photograph-wise. The fingerprints, 3 of them, tried, no luck.
Why did you?
So I'm still around because I need to vote.
When you asked, what did they tell you? Is it about internet or about the message?
Well, no explanation. The machine said I wasn't smiling enough. So I smiled. I said cheese. And yet it refused to come.
Wow.
So I'm still staying around.
Probably next time you have to sing, I guess.
Yes, maybe I had to do some singing for them. But I'm still around. But it's not really a very pleasant situation.
But are you also getting feelers from other areas?
Yes, yes. In the same ward here, I have about 300 and something persons waiting, and I've not been able to vote.
This is too.
So yes, in the other school, Central School alone, they're there, and there are about 300 of them. Only about 11 have voted. Here is reasonably okay. The failure rate here is about 25%. And unfortunately, I'm among the 25%. I don't fail exams. I don't know why I should fail today. So, but I'm still around. I'm still around.
Okay, the presenter would like to. Okay, so let's hear from you. What is it that you want the minister to stay here from? Yes.
A state of confusion. That's what you can say about the election. It's a sham. And from all he said, and let me tell you something, by the way, one of the reasons why I don't believe in the election, and IPOB doesn't believe in any election too, is because it's a sham. In southern Nigeria, because Nigeria is like two countries in one, right? In southern Nigeria, the electronic voting, electronic or biometric check before you vote, verification and all that, they are only effective in southern Nigeria. And it is deliberate that they can disenfranchise millions like that. Even before you cast any vote, they've already rigged you out. But in northern Nigeria, there is nothing like bio waiting. You will see kids lined up. You will see what do you call it? You will see voting voting centers in the bush where INEC allocated to them. There's nothing like bio waiting. So if they tell you that they have 4 million registered voters in Northwest, when the election is returned, 3.8 million votes will go straight to a northern candidate. But in southern Nigeria, where we speak grammar, right before your eyes, you will put all the effort, do everything, and they will just boom. Do you know that in Anambra State, they have 2.5 million registered voters? That Anambra. That population of voters in Anambra, they are bigger than the population of Ekiti. Not the voters in Ekiti, the Ekiti state population. But whenever election comes, you will see that the total vote that will come from Anambra in a regular election in Nigeria, it won't pass 500,000. And Anambra is not at war. But when you look at the Borno and Zamfara, where you have had Boko Haram and terrorism for ages, in the time of election, there is no void votes. If they tell you that 1.9 million people registered to vote in Borno, on the day of election, they will all return 1.9 million votes for one person. That's how they do it. And you see the people of Anambra, they will be speaking grammar. People are not really coming out to vote. People are not blah, 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 blah. But they won't see through all the rigging loopholes, which is the reason why people are now saying the Constitution of Nigeria gave that center such power that the component part of what is supposed to be a federal government, right? They don't really have a say. Just to validate it. If you want to have anything to call election, then you need to start from afresh. First, cancel that rubbish election. Cancel the rubbish constitution and let every part of today's Nigeria come together and say, this is our condition, this is our condition, this is our conditions of being part of this Nigeria. Put it inside that constitution. If this is violated, if any of this is violated, we will leave Nigeria anytime we want. Or yeah, put it inside that constitution. The people can then devise means of selecting those that will represent them and represent their interests, right? Those that will fight for Biafra without being called terrorists. Until you do that, every other thing is charade. But you are not going to blame them for your criminality. So they distance themselves. And then you see these guys on social media attacking them, abusing them, giving different narratives, abusing themselves, attacking themselves. And when you tell them, okay, what are you going to do? Then they will say, Chukwu Abiyama is going to bring Biafra. That's all they will tell you. But the intelligent people who are following things, who have managed to push Biafran struggle under IPOB to this level and never use violence for once, not once, not even when Nnamdi Kanu was about to be killed. But these charlatans want to rubbish them because of the attention they are getting on social media, because of the thousands of people that are on their platform talking and they're, praising them. My point tonight is that some of you might have emotionally, wrongfully, right, overjudge things. But you see what you are facing with the level of the awareness you have built, the sacrifices you have paid, right? Steadfastness and consistency, which has been your tool this much. It has earned you the sympathy you deserve. It has earned you the trust from far and near. And you don't know how far many people will go fighting for Biafra without coming to seek attention for it. And many of them are not even from Biafra land. A violent group can only attract violent people, terrorists. And if I tell you that IPOB is not a terrorist organization, it is because of things like this, where you can track and trace their actions, their everything. Because it has gotten to that stage where emotion no longer rules a struggle. Before now, the entire legal process was how to ensure that the world attention is finally attracted to the Biafran struggle after documentation of all the atrocities, behind the scene, the atrocities of Nigerian government. And they're actually getting there until the kidnapping of Nnamdi Kanu, which changed the entire narrative and gave Nigeria an advantage, a temporary advantage. So that then, what then became the necessity right now is to get him out of there alive. And the organization that is managed to build with others continue to remain consistent, vibrant enough to push on. So that even when he's no longer there, the idea, the diplomacy that comes with it stays on. And not because of some charlatans who just wanted to be seen. I'm saying this not because I actually need your validation, okay? I'm saying this because for the sake of those who are daily looking for an up-to-date information to feed their mind better things than the farce and the falsehood that Nigeria and their affiliates have been propagating every day, every second, every platform, everywhere you turn to. That's what they spend money on. People look for truth, something and reassuring. Not something that makes them apprehensive, unsure. So what is going to happen now? Are we going to fight war now? Are we going to watch our people killed in Anambra now? Is it going to lead to this and that now? They need somebody to give them the reassurance that, no, it's not going to get to that. You are not known for that. You are not violent people. Nigeria is doing everything. They are working day and night, including those their allies. They are working every now and then to show the world that you are violent. Even though they say you are violent, but you are the ones paying the supreme prices. I mean, the supreme price. How do you maintain steadfastness without losing your emotion? Is when you have people who can tell them, listen, this is the turn of things. And we will remain non-violent because there's no point in making a threat that you can't follow up. Right? And now that we know that there are violent people talking about Biafra, and there is also a peace non-violent group led by IPOB, the ones that their leader was kidnapped, and he has legal representative that you can actually contact. It's enough for you to choose what you think is actually right. Violence. Some said, my God, we are still going to, this is still going to lead to war. Do you actually want me to sit down here and tell you that, oh yeah, it's going to lead to war. This is what we're going to do. To what end? Because I have a control or command of Eastern Security Network or what? Or do I have control or command of Amotekun? I mean, like, it is just to massage one's ego when you threaten war that you can't back up. Nnamdi Kanu have the tool to declare war. He didn't declare it on Nigeria. He declared it on the terrorists who are taking advantage of the criminal government in Nigeria to perpetuate their criminality under their own ethnicity. The cover. He declared war on them, and Nigeria then declared war
on IPOB in return. If this was about ESN and Fulani herdsmen, and there is no military coming in and all of that, yeah? If the Eastern politicians support ESN enough, we probably won't have any reason to see these guys with guns bragging about anything. Oh, I didn't forget. And don't. That's another thing. Comprehension matters. What I told you is this, that even if the struggle for Biafra or the struggle for Oduduwa Republic leads to war, it will eventually end at the round table, the same table that everybody is demanding for now, through a peaceful referendum. I will never promote war or violence of any kind. And if there is any comprehension problem in that regard, maybe this will help you correct that impression. The only group who is violent so far in everything about referendum, self-determination, since I've come to know it now, the only violent group is the Nigerian government. They are the only one who always respond with violence. When people go out there with their flags, with their placard, with their camera phone and everything, yeah? And the government turn around and they started shooting and killing them. That is violence. You don't then turn around and blame those you kill as being violent. So I won't come here and sit down comfortably and be bragging about the violence. Even when Oloye Sunday Igboho was out there actively, I supported him 100%. You know why? He never declared war on Nigeria. It would be foolish enough for anybody to brag aimlessly, because it's just an easy license for what Nigeria loves to do, killing you. They will still do it anyway, and that's why I said, when they push people to that point where Nigeria have to end up in civil war, at that time, even when we kill ourselves, yeah, we are still going to end up on the negotiation table. But that time, it will likely not be in Nigeria. It will be somewhere else. That's what I said. And I'm not taking that back, by the way, because that's exactly what it will be. The whole thing we are doing right now is called the peaceful way of parting ways. The only violent group is the Nigerian government that is killing people, right? If you have criminals who have committed crimes, in the name of IPOB, arrest them, investigate them, and prosecute them. I have not seen Nnamdi Kanu with a gun, and I have not seen IPOB with people that kidnap the people, asking them to pay ransom or humiliating them. And if you are just joining me, I'm so sorry if you have missed the parts where I started. Why? Many of us support and we will continue to support IPOB because they are not violent. And for those who have managed to latch on IPOB this, IPOB that, Biafra struggle, IPOB this, IPOB that, and use social media, right, to brag and do all this, right? And they then turn around to say, oh, look at them, look at what they are doing to us and all of that. I am just using this opportunity to remind you that from when I've known them, even when they declare a sit at home, there was never a time that they threatened the people of Igbo land. That if you don't sit at home, we are going to kill you. No, never. But for the charlatans on here. So this is the first part. This is the part we are now saying that the expose we have seen in Anambra today is actually good enough for the people who have said, and they said they have started the movement and the effort to get Mazi Nnamdi Kanu out of that DSS detention, right? And open up conversation about the Biafran struggle and how they can come to the table. I like that. It doesn't mean that it's going to work. But how would you know if you don't give it if you don't give it a shot? So if you call people Sabo for calling off sit at home, when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu comes out, right? And Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the rest of those who are going to be in the same room where you are going to see the real ones who brag that they will kill you for being an IPOB member, for asking for Biafra, then sitting together in the same room, talking about how to iron things out about Biafra. Are you all going to turn to mob? On Nnamdi Kanu? Because when you disagree with the structure you have, and you begin to create your own social media structure that doesn't exist, other than this whole praise singing and everything, right? Because they don't really exist to me. What are you going to use them for when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu tomorrow walks into a room in Abuja and they say they want to go and talk about the Biafran struggle and all of that, and he comes out to make a pronouncement that won't really go down well with you? Are you going to call him Sabo? And those of you who are actually like powering them on, are you going to be able to call them back then that they shouldn't call Nnamdi Kanu Sabo? I'm only saying this because I can imagine what it is going to be for you, for what you are enjoying right now. Disagreeing with what you have no clue about, or you do, but because you disagree with, decided to want to crush it and crash it, and you continue to do same again and again, but saying you are doing it because of Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu is going to come out. He's going to make pronouncements here and there. Many of them won't go down well with you. Some of them won't go down well with him as well. But when, as a leader, he will make those pronouncements, right? Are you going to crucify him? Let that question be with you. So I haven't seen anywhere IPOB, as they put so many security in Anambra for Anambra election, waiting for IPOB to kill. The 60 people they kidnapped inside a church in Kaduna, their kidnappers displayed them, possibly just to mock them, because they know Nigeria will do nothing. There is no dispatched declaration to southern Kaduna where they are kidnapped. 60 human beings. You want to see what they look like? Let's give credit to Leadership newspaper for this clip. They put it together.
wallahi wallahi ba su mu ni nan Allah ya sani ban taba zuwa wani meeting ba. Allah ya sani ne ga gare ni a can a sanakuna dan ne abin da ba gaskiya ba zuwa wuri na a takaita shi ya yi sarki to muna roƙon arziki ba mu da abin da mun dai roƙo muke a wuri jiyo su nan dukkan su a gansu dukkan su ku kaushi a ba a nuna musu wannan dukkan su a nuna kiristocin Najeriya. Ta zo ki tashi ki tashi. Allah jihar aiki wani. Gani ga mama. Wata fada aiki ne. Gani ga mama. Ni na wani ina roka gwamnati ne yanda na saba da Fulani gaskiya ba zan iya roka Fulani ba ni ko lokacin sallah ni kai ma ni kan je iya a wurin Fulani. Kai ba kuke zama wani. Ni ma gaskiya ni ba na so abin da zai sa gwamnati ta raba ni da Fulani. Ina so zaman lafiya da Fulani. Ko na kenan addu'a na kenan Allah ya ba mu zaman salama a kasan mu gaba daya. Sake mana ne to mu yi rayuwa yanda muke. A'a su bari mana ne to mu yi aiki. A'a su bari mana mu yi aiki. Mama kin haihu, amfanin haihuwa za ki yi. Amfanin haihuwa mama. Amfanin haihuwa mama. Yayi kyau. Duna ba ki haushin banza.
60 worshippers from a church in southern Kaduna kidnapped for more than 4 days or 5 days now, because those who are supposed to provide security for them, majority of them are in Anambra for election. 54,000 security men moved to Anambra, 34,000 policemen, 20,000 civil defense and the soldiers including armored carriers, helicopter, what do you call it, surveillance helicopter, all in Anambra for Anambra election. 60 Nigerians are from the same church are currently in the captivity of Fulani kidnappers, and they made them, to make a video that they are taking care of them, they are fine, and they are treating them okay. There's no problem until the people will come and pay for their ransom. 60 human beings. But they are not the priority, are they? Because yesterday, today, there are reports of tens of people killed in the same southern Kaduna because they have deployed logistics for election in Anambra. They are not even feeding the police officers they took there. I showed you that earlier. While the people are in captivity in southern Kaduna, Fulani terrorist captivity. In Nigeria, they said they are still investigating if they should declare them as terrorist organization or not. I told people, I said, listen. Meanwhile, let's first check this out.
Hands up!
I think I've got a video quality issue there. Okay, I'm going to try it for another time, and if it doesn't really play, you could probably have an idea of what I'm trying to show you there. Okay, that's Anambra, where they have people raising up their. I'm sorry, that's they said that's Enemo, where they have people raising up their hands on the streets, and the people are actually in the kidnappers' den. They are praying to God to come and rescue them. Right?
Hands up!
Right. I think the quality of that video is not going to work for us tonight. But yeah, the military are there bragging. Raise up your hand. We don't land. You just say you the craze. You just say, like something like that. Yeah, somebody just told me that it's actually Anambra last night, just before today's election. You have to raise your hands, including children on the street. You have to do like that. That's exactly how they treat people there. Can't imagine if they do that to you in Lagos, like becomes your part of our way of life every day. I don't know how many of you will remain normal in your abnormality. You know what I mean? Like, as they're asking you to go and vote, please continue to vote. The jobs they say they have for you, jobs like Empower and research, they have another one, and knowledge. They have brought another one, another scam, and they put people in camp, right? Because this is the change they voted for. Change dole. But it is a Nigerian thing, right? It never worked out. It will never work out. The people who will come on social media to be votrons for APC, Egbekegbe and co. The same guys who got the Empower job probably did their Thanksgiving when they were called that they have been employed by, they are going to be trained by Empower. But hunger is nobody's friend. In their camp, they couldn't hold it any longer. Hunger, they wired them.
What is going on in PSIN presently is that federal government sent us for the program, and ever since they sent us here, since on Saturday, we have not been fed. Federal government sent us on a dead era, of which starvation is killing most people. Over 40 people
is being in the clinic right now. If the federal government is aware that they cannot be able to enhance the youth, they shouldn't have sent us to this place. Now we are dying of hunger. The nature of the accommodation is okay, but the feeding, there is no light. It's not okay. There is no light. There is no light here. There is no light. There is no water. And there is no food. We are seven in the room. Some people have not got accommodation. Some people have not even gotten accommodation. The hotel of which they present, there is no water in the hotel, in the environment. And the money that they are paying us, they are giving back payment. And they are Kanu, yeah, that's 50,000. No, we don't want to. 50,000. Where is headquarters? Why will you pay for 60,000? They would account.
Do you see their faces? Do you see that? Do you see the hopelessness? That is what Nigeria does to our youth. Frustrates them, make their life miserable. So when 2-3 among those people finally got picked and they are made the leaders of the rest of them, those ones will now feel better than the rest of those ones. And they'll be thanking God. That is the system Nigeria built. Frustrated young people. In 20 years' time, right? The same video you are watching now will repeat itself if Nigeria is still the same. I mean, if Nigeria is does still exist. It will just be different youth that will grow up to the reality of a failed country that Nigeria is and how much they've stolen away from them. You can see all of them talking at the same time. Frustrated because they know that they believe that speaking up, somebody from the ministry, somebody from somewhere will suddenly just bring money and they will take care of them. They won't. That's the moment they will have. They will have that moment. If they repeat that same thing tomorrow, they will bring their soldiers and they will shoot them. They will kill some of them there. Now, job then they look for, and hear them saying 60K, Adamawa 60K. They are paying us 42,000 a year. Now, me do men job too. Empowered federal government job. Frustrated young people. And they are the ones you have on social media, by the way. Whenever they come back from that place now, some of them will grab their phones. Because you know, say they are always looking for something to do as well, even though there is almost nothing to do. Nigeria is... So they will go back on their phones and they will start defending APC, start defending PDP, start making opinions, forming opinions about this and that. Tomorrow morning, they will sleep, they will wake up in the same room that they put 7 people, 10 people in one room. They wake up tomorrow. Once they manage to wake up tomorrow, they will start defending Nigeria again. That's how bad it is. And that is why I will never ascribe unnecessary, relevance to myself. I'm not going to sit down here and say, I have that power to tell you what to do. I can't give order. I don't get organization. Do you understand? I am not a member of any organization, but I do wish and hope that soon we will have the same vibrant capacity with Ilana Odua in Yorubaland. We have the same stronger capacity with every organization that are working in Yorubaland for Yoruba Nation, where we can be as formidable as what the IPOB have done. And this is why they have enough to call everybody to sit at home. When they give such order, it is not just on social media. It goes beyond that. And the real people who actually own the message, they will receive it without any violence or any threats. We don't have such a powerful and an influential organization like that pursuing Yoruba nation right now. But we believe that with time, with enlightenment, awareness, and education and the rest of that, we'll get there. Yes, we have a stronger media that can do the job for us. But if the people don't accept it, if people are not really averse into it enough or courageous enough to stand firm and say, yes, this is what we want, there's no point in making this a rivalry or making it a competition. It's not a competition. You get what I mean now? I don't have such power, and I would never arrogate such to myself. But do I have influence enough to at least get people thinking, including those who actually controls all these organizations, including IPOB? Do you have enough influence to get them thinking and possibly agreeing with me on some things? Maybe not on all things. Of course, yes, I have that influence, right? But that doesn't make me somebody that will say, oh, tomorrow we have all of us have to sit down in sit at home in Yorubaland. And it doesn't make less of me too, because I am not going to be disappointed from a power I never even have in the first place. And I want to say to some of you, the people that controls IPOB, the leader of IPOB is Nnamdi Kanu. There's a reason for that. The people that controls IPOB and manages the affairs of IPOB, the legal organization, the media management, and every other thing that concerns IPOB, they are known as the DOS. If Nnamdi Kanu comes out tomorrow and says, these people have compromised, it will give his reasons. And it will also choose, the system will also choose their replacement. Is that not how it's done? And the only thing you can hold in his memory is never to tear down the house simply because you want to get social media attention, or you are getting the attention right now. Don't arrogate any power to yourself. When it comes to IPOB that I know, right, the non-violent and peaceful one, they don't threaten people. And if you have been one of those sending threats, intimidating, making all this empty coward threats on social media, right? Well, I bet the intelligent ones who are in charge of IPOB achieved something today, right? They managed to force the entire Nigeria to find no reason to blame IPOB for anything, despite all of your coward, selfish, ignorant threats on social media. So I'm saying this again. The only organization that we know that works with IPOB, right, is the DOS. I don't have to be their friends. I don't even need to talk to any of them because I don't have to. But there's a reason why they are in place. Ridiculing them for those empty social media attention will not change that. All right. And as they call it, they say they call it a chain of command. There's a reason why it is also there. Respect it, even if you disagree with it. With time, right? If you have those who are working against your what they are working against the Biafra, with time, they will have no place to actually feel fitted anymore, right? Their act and their act of sabotage, right, we eventually give them up. It is not yours to continue to do mental gymnastic on social media, bragging about things you can't do and hoping that somebody will do it for you so that you can return tomorrow on social media and brag about how much you did, how much your threat was carried out. That is not the IPOB many of us know. And I'm saying it to you, my friends, right? That is not the IPOB we know, right? And the one we know managed intelligently to prevent the doom that Nigeria is known for happening in happening in Anambra today. Tomorrow is another day for the diligent and the diligent and the consistent and obedient Biafran agitators and the supporters and defenders, right? There's something that makes you thick. There's something that makes you different. Don't get carried away with those who are playing with your emotion on social media because they know you want to hear something. They know. And in order to sustain the fraud that they have come to be, they need to continue to propagate every kind of, falsehood enough. And your emotion is what they are toying with. Listen, You don't need to agree with me. But you should be matured enough to say, I disagree with you. I disagree with that person. Or I don't agree with you. Maturely, than to go on a tirade and start attacking people simply because your mental problem is telling you that they are your enemy. Not everybody is your enemy. You have every right to disagree with people. In the course of a struggle like this, where many people comes together and everybody with their own, with their own agenda, so to say, or intention, but an organization that could manage all of that with a laid down structure and a chain of command, as they call it. Respect it. There's a reason why it is there. Respect it. Sustain this. There's a reason why it got sustained to this level, right? And if you disagree with anybody, you don't call them enemies, just to make you feel better. And I hope that helps. If it doesn't help, that's your problem. And for those who will manage to probably, work this out and see the win for calling off the sit at home, and at the same time, continue to mount the pressure locally and internationally. You see, what you have is your social media handle, your social media platform. If you have to share anything at all, share something that is a relative, share something that is educative, something that people can indeed, right, hold on to. Don't share all this falsehood of violence, right? Don't continue to elaborate and celebrate criminality. Those who are killing policemen, those who are burning down police station, and the rest of that. And because it suits what makes you feel good in yourself, right? And you can hide under IPOB and say, yes, unknown gunmen did anointing. These people are walking, all this madness, right? They can make you feel better and sleep good at night, right? But at the end of the day, it doesn't help the cause, I'll say. But it's up to you. Again, tell me to my face, I disagree with you, Mayegun, and I will respect you for that. But you don't go around and label people enemies. The people you are going to need. The people you are going to indeed need if you are intelligent enough. I'll drop it there. And thank you to everybody who took their time to join us tonight. Anambra election is gone. We'll follow it up tomorrow, and we'll wait for them to declare their results. And then, you'll get to see it as a charm, the charm that it is, a charm, a fraud. And then we'll be back to the same thing we left yesterday before the election. Those who are going to blame IPOB after the election, it's because you didn't let people come out and later, that's their problem. All right. The point here is that you cannot now turn around and say IPOB contributed to any violence in any part of Biafra land for the first time in 11 months. That means something to some of us who have been tracking the lies, the propaganda that they have been throwing at so many people. That means something. Like I said, tomorrow is another day. And I'm going to see you again. So my friends on YouTube, if you are still there, just before you go, you can possibly just click like. Tomorrow is Sunday sermon. If you have the time, subscribe. Set your notification on YouTube, Mayegun's Diary Political. And I'm going to see you tomorrow on the Sunday sermon. For those of you who are watching this live, I'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.
Súnrakì. Máyégún ti dé. Máyégún ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ Súnrakì. Máyégún ti dé. Àní ẹ̀ Súnrakì. Máyégún ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Máyégún ti dé. Àní ẹ̀ Súnrakì. Máyégún ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Máyégún ti dé. Àní ẹ̀ Súnrakì. Máyégún ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Máyégún máa wí. Àní ẹ̀ Súnrakì. Máyégún ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Máyégún máa wí. Àní ẹ̀ Súnrakì. Máyégún ti dé. Pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Máyégún máa wí. Àní ẹ̀ Súnrakì. Máyégún ti dé. Gómìnà kówó jẹ. Máyégún máa wí. ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá ayé ẹ̀sùn rájò aṣòfin tí ń rúfin òwò ayé ẹ̀sùn rájò òkúra olóṣèlú ayé ẹ̀sùn rájò ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rájì ayé ẹ̀sùn rájì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ráàkì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ráàkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran òun.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ráàkì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ráàkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran.
Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Oníkanṣá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o àyè.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ráàkì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ráàkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran.
Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣà ìtú wọn síta.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ráàkì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ráàkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran.
Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́run ṣọ́ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. Lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. Bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. Èèpo ọ̀gọ̀ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti jọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ fòyà. Àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán wò á kàmù. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ráàkì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ráàkì o. Ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ráàkì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ráàkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran.